tuned in to EWC Cultural News Today, hosted by Amber Rodriguez.
I'm Amber Rodriguez, hosting EWC Cultural News Today. COVID-19 lockdowns and isolation periods have brought forth the general discussion of mental health, domestic violence, and post-traumatic stress disorder. For our United States military and service members, the pandemic has elevated these stressors and trauma they face day to day. Sexual violence in the military is a widespread problem that continues to rise. In 2020, Vanessa Guillen's story went viral. Take a look at these next images of Vanessa Guillen in her memorial by ABC News. Vanessa Guillen was a 20-year-old Army soldier who was murdered by another soldier while stationed in Fort Hood, Texas. Specialist Guillen reported to the Army twice about sexual harassment by a soldier before she was murdered. But her reports, like many other cases, were ignored by the Army and U.S. military. Today, her story is still fresh and represents the big picture of how sexual violence in the military is still an issue that needs to be addressed. An article by AP News stated, reports of sexual assaults across the U.S. military jumped by 13% last year, driven by significant increases in the Army and the Navy as bases began to move out of pandemic restrictions and public venues reopened. That 13% represents close to 36,000 service members who answered in a confidential survey that they experienced unwanted sexual contact. That 13% represents close to 36,000 service members who answered in a confidential survey that they experienced unwanted sexual contact. This response was an increase of close to 20,000 service members from a similar survey in 2018. The issue of sexual violence in the U.S. military runs deeper and younger in age, even in high school programs. Back in July, the New York Times reported in the last 5 years, at least 33 JROTC instructors have been criminally charged with sexual misconduct in students. Many other reports have been made about other JROTC instructors, but they were never charged. JROTC high school programs must also acknowledge these reports of children and teenagers being abused and manipulated by a higher authority, the same pattern that happens in the U.S. military. The Department of Air Force is acknowledging this matter and implementing a pilot program to centralize and simplify advocacy, response, and support services at 7 bases. Offutt Air Force Base here in Nebraska was one of the 7 bases that was chosen based on the population's diversity, expressed interest from the Major Command, and the ability to execute the co-location approach. The goal is for survivors to get help in a quicker, easier, and timely manner, all in one location. The Offutt Integrated Response Center offers the services of a sexual assault response coordinator, sexual assault prevention and response victim advocate, domestic abuse victim advocate, victims counsel, and a religious support team. Every soldier should receive care in their service. No teenager interested in the military should feel uncomfortable by a high authority abusing their power. Vanessa Guillen's story and these unfortunate statistics reflect the changes that need to happen in policies, programs, and beyond. I'm Amber Rodriguez, your host for EWC Cultural News Today, and this is sexual violence in the U.S. military.
You've been listening to EWC Cultural News Today, hosted by Amber Rodriguez. If you'd like to make suggestions, email us at ewcfacts@gmail.com. That's ewcfacts@gmail.com. This has been an EWC Communication production.